Good evening, everyone. Welcome to AI for Designers. Today is December 13th, so happy holidays. Thanks for being here. LinkedIn live audience, thank you for attending as well. Appreciate it. This is AI for Designers, and we've got a great lineup for you. I'm Jackson, I'm the host, and I'm also the organizer of AI User Group. What are we doing? We're doing a conference on January 29th, 30th, and 31st. If you haven't registered yet, do so tonight. Registration closed on December 8th, but we're opening it back up for one night. So if you haven't registered, scan this QR code and go for it. We still have GA passes available. Okay. And we'll have speakers from Adobe, Canva, Shutterstock, IBM, Anyscale, Google DeepMind. They work on Gemini, and Meta. They work on Llama 2 and some other things like Facebook. What else? It'll be at the Hibernia, about 5 blocks from here. It's 4 stories, amazing stained glass window. That's where the stage is going to be. Rooftop, workshops in the basement. It's an old bank from 1892, very opulent and beautiful. Don't be shy if you'd like to present here. This is my email, so don't hesitate to reach out. What else? Call for speakers, AI for Designers, January 10th. If any of you would like to present a workflow here, you don't need to be like a AI tool creator. You can be an AI tool user and present a multi-tool approach. If you'd like to present, let me know. Be in touch. Here's just some ideas that could be possible. What else? Agenda for today. First, we'll hear from Bryan Wade, then Ross Patrick, then KD Deshpende, and then at 8 o'clock, we'll do open mic announcements right here. If you'd like to make an announcement to introduce yourself before networking and pizza. So that's what's happening. Doors close at 8:50. Okay. Without further delay, let's hear from our first speaker. This is Bryan Wade. He is a software engineer, AI art creator, and organizer of Generative AI SF Happy Hour. So ask him about that as well. The title of his talk is Dall-E 3, Best Practices for Elevating Image Accuracy and Nuance. Without further delay, here is Bryan Wade.
There we go. Hey everybody, so I am going to be talking about my opinions about kind of Dall-E 3, what it's good at, what it's bad at, and kind of why, what you should and should not kind of use it for, right? So pretty much every picture of art that's in this presentation is from Dall-E 3. So I guess, yeah, as a high level, first about myself, so I run a happy hour that's every Monday. It's kind of like in the evenings near kind of the Twitter office at a bar. It's basically kind of like a networking event where people just talk about AI art, their startups, and all of that jazz. Definitely come by sometime. Every Monday, it's on Meetup. Now, let me get into it. So, kind of a high-level overview of, I would say, we'll call these like the technical details of kind of what Dall-E is and kind of what its features are. So, I guess first, as a high level, Dall-E 3 is an AI art kind of feature of ChatGPT. Right? And so what that means is that you can make images pretty much only in the ChatGPT interface. So normally when you might be asking it questions, but you can also just say, make me an image of a giraffe. And you can do it kind of in their interface. You can't, I guess they have an API as well, but mostly I think most people are going to be using it through the kind of GTP interface. So comparisons to kind of other AI art kind of generators, like the open source ones. This one takes about kind of 30 seconds to kind of make an image, which is kind of on the higher side of kind of time to create images. And then I would say, we'll be showing some photos later, but I would say that the quality is about as good as Midjourney or Stable Diffusion XL, with the exclusion of kind of photorealism, which I think kind of other things are better at, and we'll kind of get into that why. And the main things to know about that are it's effectively kind of like just a chatbot, and so it doesn't have a lot of the other features you might expect from a lot of kind of the open source kind of tools and frameworks. So that's kind of a high level detail of it. I mean, it's also a bit expensive, I would say. So you can only access it by having like a ChatGPT kind of plus $20 a month membership, and you're rate limited to like 40 images every 3 hours, or it's like 10 cents an image, which I think is a bit on the high side. And then noticeable missing features, I would say, before we get into kind of what you should use it for. So this image is actually of the old Dall-E 2 editor, which used to have things like inpainting, where you could kind of delete certain sections of kind of like the image and regenerate just that part. For Dall-E 3, it pretty much has almost none of that. So you couldn't do inpainting, you couldn't fine tune, you couldn't kind of create embeddings, you couldn't create kind of control net, things that I think are pretty standard in a lot of the open source things. It's basically just usable, just kind of like how Midjourney is, just kind of usable through their chatbot. So I guess here's the question: Why would you use it? Why would you use Dall-E 3 if it doesn't have kind of access to a lot of these open source features? I would say the biggest reason why you use Dall-E is it effectively solves a lot of the prompt engineering kind of problem. So I'm sure people have seen prompts like this, where you say something like, robot girl in blue colors in the style of hyper-realistic environment, 32K, Hector Guimard style, close-up mechanical design. It's almost become like a whole career to kind of be a prompt engineer, of kind of like typing in magic words as if you're doing alchemy into this kind of like black box, and really doing a lot of this guess and check and not really kind of knowing what kind of like the prompts do. You can still do that with Dall-E 3, but you can also just tell it, I want an image of a robot girl, and it will just give you a good image of that, or it will ask you questions. So the point of this is, I think the reason why you use Dall-E 3 is you should not be treating this like Midjourney. You should not be treating this like Stable Diffusion. You should be treating this like you're talking to a person, like you're talking to an artist. Like, oh, I want to get, I guess here's an example of kind of like the robot example I gave. So instead of typing that crazy prompt, I just typed in, make me a picture of an awesome robot girl. And that's kind of the first image kind of on the left side is what it did. And then kind of another thing to think about is, with a chatbot, you can then use those previous images as kind of like a half input into your new one. So the reason why you do this is you can easily iterate on your previous images. And you can iterate it in kind of very general, abstract ways. So the two other images after this were me saying, make the previous picture more awesome. And then it just made the image more awesome, which is a lot different than how other things might go. So the way that you would do this normally with prompt engineering is, you might say, I want an image that is awesome level 1000. But what is the difference between something that is awesome level 1000 versus awesome level 1,000,000, right? There's not really a way to prompt engineer that too well. So, I mean, there's some boundings of it. You could say like, oh, imagine you have an awesome level between 1 and 10, and you could say awesome level 7, and that might improve it. But eventually you reach a limit. Whereas with kind of this Dall-E 3, you can even do something like make it more detailed. Here's another example, or you can get kind of different angles. So this is an example of me just telling it to make the robot girl kind of more detailed, and it just kind of became more detailed. So that's kind of like the high level best use case for it. So another cool thing that should be known about Dall-E 3 is text. It is better than there's not a lot of image models that kind of do text, and so you can. This is an example of a picture I did where it said, make me a picture of a field of wheat that is afraid, with a tractor in the background. The wheat is saying, wheat better get out of here. And if you look at kind of this example, you will notice that the letters do look cool, but the text works about 30% of the time, I would say. Is a rough estimate. And so that was kind of just the first picture that it created it. So just out of Dall-E 3, so I thought I'd kind of like show that off to see kind of the real results. But it does look cool, and if you just generate it like 3 or 4 times, it's kind of gonna get the right kind of text. So that is the text of it. Okay, another major caveat about Dall-E 3 is that compared to other art generators, the filters are quite strict. So anything to do with, which you could be good or bad in kind of your opinion. So anything to do with like copyrighted material, the chatbot, it's not even like the model won't do it. It's like the chatbot will kind of stop you from doing it. So the picture I have on the left was, I told it to make me a picture of Superman, and you will notice that is not Superman. But I mean, it's a superhero in a red cloak. So it doesn't do that stuff. It will also, okay, so get to my point about, I mentioned that one of the quality issues of Dall-E 3 is that it doesn't work super well with photorealism. I think that's because of the filters. So if you give it an image of a person, if you say, I want you to take this image and put a hat on this person, it will not do that. It'll say this breaks our kind of terms of service restrictions to do kind of anything that's like photorealistic. I think that they're trying to stop like deepfakes, or even anything like slightly sexual or hitting any, whereas like a lot of the Midjourney stuff does do it. So the filters are quite strict, I think, and especially for copyright and photorealism. Like here's an example. This is like just a prompt I found on Midjourney, which was like a photo of a Greek goddess. It didn't say, in the prompt, it doesn't actually say anything sexual. It says just, I guess it says photo of a beautiful Greek goddess, fair-skinned, detailed expression. But even that was kind of like against the ChatGPT rules. So that is something to be aware of. Okay, so another feature that Dall-E has is, because it's in the OpenAI ecosystem, it has access to all of the OpenAI chatbot tools. One of those, which is GTP Vision. So you can actually upload an image to Dall-E 3, and you can like say, oh, okay, the example I gave is turn myself into an anime picture. It's a bit of a poor man's, I think, image to image, if people know that, where in other services you can upload an image and change it slightly. But this one kind of, with Vision, it finds keywords. So it can, it'll find like, okay, what is the color of the clothes people are wearing? What is their hair color? What do they have a hoodie on? And then it will mostly be able to create like anime pictures of you. So this example is, I gave it a picture of me and I told it to create an anime version. And then I took the anime picture and I said, create a photorealistic version of that anime picture, if that makes sense. And that's kind of was the final result at the end. So another thing to think about for the OpenAI ecosystem is you can actually, there's like a new GTP store where you can share kind of chatbots, and you could actually, and this ChatGPT store can include prompts that allow you to kind of like create images. So actually, I made one which was turning yourself into kind of like an anime character. And the reason, I guess, why you would do that is you can kind of share prompts a lot better than, and then it like just kind of runs it in kind of like that bot store. And then I'm going to end this off with kind of an example of kind of a cool Twitter trend that people found, which was really takes advantage of kind of the chatbot features of this. And this was making a pizza more delicious. So it started off as a regular cheese pizza, and somebody progressively asked it to make it more delicious. So it starts off fairly normal. Maybe the one on the right might be edible. And then it goes even more interesting, where it eventually turns into anthropomorphic pineapples eating pizza. And then if you make this even more delicious than that, it turns into a galaxy eating pineapple. Whereas this really isn't something, for example, that you could like just do in Midjourney. I guess you could make a prompt that says galaxy eating pineapple, but you couldn't just say, make my previous image more delicious, and then eventually get to a galaxy eating pineapple. And then I guess conclusions, I guess I would say why you would do this. I think you would use this over kind of Midjourney. So even though you don't have kind of all these kind of choices or ways of exactly kind of controlling the image, at least it's not just like a Discord bot. And it really helps on kind of prompt engineering, whereas, so you don't have to just spend hours and hours figuring out exactly what these kind of magic keywords do. And it works pretty well with the OpenAI ecosystem too. So that is kind of like my high-level thoughts on kind of using this for a couple weeks. Did anybody else have any other questions or opinions, I would say, about kind of your personal experience with Dall-E 3, if anybody's tried it?
Do you want to start Q&A, Brian?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. And do you want to jump into, if you think there's time, do you want to jump in and show us just a prompting example from?
Sure.
And in the meantime, get your questions ready. We'll start Q&A. Anyone have a question for Brian Wade? And if you guys can help me just pass the mic, Scott will do the first question. And if you can, just stand and speak into the mic.
Hi, good demonstration, thanks. You showed a lot about Dall-E as well as Midjourney, and you mentioned Stable Diffusion at the beginning, but then you didn't talk more about it. Can you say more about the differences of Stable Diffusion with the other two?
Sure, yeah, so, yeah, I should have gone over that a little more. So there are three major players in the space right now. So there's Midjourney, which is kind of a Discord bot where you can get very pretty anime pictures of people. There's Dall-E 3, which I just showed off. And the other open source alternative is called Stable Diffusion. And it is what runs, it's basically, there's an open source model where people can kind of make the images on their home PC. And the reason why you do this is because it has a diversity of very powerful tools that are created kind of by the open source community that allow you to, it's a lot more feature complete. So features like training your own model on your face so you can make images of yourself. Things like making people in certain poses or replacing certain parts of an image by erasing certain parts of it. It's like a whole open source kind of ecosystem with kind of a lot of features. So a lot more feature complete, but it has a little bit lower quality. And it's harder to use kind of these tools.
Brian, did you just make that image just now?
Yep. So the example I made a cool spaceship, and then I'm telling it to make it cooler. I'd say this is a cooler spaceship, you know? And we'll see what it does again.
Brian, I had a question while it's generating. That's cool.
Yeah. I think somebody did that with make me the most normal image. And then they tried to make it more and more normal. It started off with like a coffee cup, and then it turned into a piece of paper, and then it turned into a blank white room. Yeah.
Brian, maybe this is too speculative for you to answer, but I'm curious. You mentioned the interface for Midjourney, of course, being Discord. You have a developer background among many other skills, so you're quite familiar with Discord. What's your opinion of the Discord interface? And in your opinion, do you think Midjourney should remain in Discord or develop like a UI?
You know, I could do a whole talk on just that. I am a little bit surprised at how far behind I think Midjourney has gotten on their interface. So they don't have a web app. They've been around for like a year and a half, and they haven't made a web app. They haven't made a mobile app. They're still just, you have to download Discord and chat in Discord to make your images, and all the images are public. I don't think they have an API yet. Yeah. But I think it works a little bit better with OpenAI because they have like a whole ecosystem, whereas Midjourney is just images. It's not like your. I mean, I think ChatGPT actually even has like a phone app. So yeah.
Any other questions from the audience for Brian?
Hi, just for clarification, Midjourney does have a website now. They just launched it, but it's only for people who have 10,000 images generated or more. But they have a completely new UI, and it looks really good. So, clarification.
That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Just want to share.
Finally, yeah.
Product announcement from Midjourney.
Yeah.
Very stupid, simple question, but is there a way to tweak an image without it, like, because it always generates a new one, and then you can give a prompt and it will generate a new one, but can you make edits through any separate application, or?
I mean, you could download the image and put it and upload it somewhere else. So it doesn't have in painting. So I guess, yeah, that was the slide I had over here, which was there used to be like a whole Dall-E 2 interface where you could make edits. You can give it commands, so you could say, I mean, like here, that's kind of what I'm doing here is I'm telling it to make it cooler. I guess that's kind of an edit. But yeah, it generates a whole new one on the fly. No inpainting, no image to image. Yeah.
Audience, would you like to come up with an idea for an image generation for Bryan to undertake? Although I'm loving this flow. Bryan, would you be open to
Sure. Yeah.
any ideas? What would you guys like to see generated? A question?
Yeah, and also an idea.
Question and idea. Please stand.
Hi, thanks for your presentation earlier. For like an image, are you able to get Dall-E 3 to make the background transparent or provide you an alpha channel?
Are they transparent background? My guess would be probably not, but you could do remove background on it. So you could tell it to give it a blank background, I would say, but I think a blank background is different from transparent, right? We'll see. But I mean, usually it's good at following instructions, but you might have to just see it's not a. Yeah, it's not. It kind of looks transparent, but this is not transparent. So yeah, but you could remove background on it, use a different tool.
Okay, perfect. Let's take. Here you go.
Thanks. So sorry we missed the beginning a bit. So if you touched on this already, but what, in your opinion, is the best use of kind of AI generated images at the moment? Because often it's like they are seen as a part of a blog post or something, and you can see that it's AI generated. Mm-hmm. But what's the best use for you?
A couple use cases. I mean, I think the best use case is the viral stuff. So making profile pictures of yourself, making pictures to post on Twitter. I have heard that the internet art commission market is like completely destroyed right now. So it used to be you could go on Fiverr and like pay somebody like $100 to make an image. I think that stuff is all AI right now. I mean, people are talking about like, oh, could you make game assets with it? And then now people are doing videos and movies and stuff. But in the meantime, because a lot of these images aren't super perfect, I would say just viral marketing stuff. Yeah, on Twitter.
Y'all hear me? There you go. I got a question and then I got a design prompt. My question is, which AI model or platform could you teach your certain, let's say, illustration style, so then you can have it be your design assistant in your vein? And then my design prompt is, if Jesus made love to Mary Magdalene, what would their daughter look like?
Of the child of Jesus and who?
Mary Magdalene.
Mary Mag.
Specifically their daughter.
Yeah, it's okay. See, we're already getting into the the filters. It's saying creating an image of a fictional child. It requires a careful approach. It's not. Oh wait, actually, it is trying. Oh, it gave a warning. It said like, okay, so I'm making the image. So what you're talking about is, it's called fine-tuning or training your own model. The easiest one I would recommend is scenario.com. You can just like, a lot of people run it on their home PCs, but scenario.com has a way of, you just upload a bunch of images and it makes a model, and then you can kind of make new images from that. Completely user-friendly, all online. Yeah, that's what I recommend.
Kind of in the same vein of question, are you able to generate images that are mimicking a certain artist's style? Let's say if you're doing comic books and you want to do something in the style of like Mobius.
You could mimic generic styles, I would say. Like you could almost certainly make something in the style of comic book characters.
Okay.
But I also think that they specifically tried to prevent making styles of specific artists. So you couldn't put somebody's name in. You might be able to upload an image and saying make a new image based on what the style of this image is, or you might be able to describe it in some way. But the filters are going to get you if you put somebody's name in there.
Like if you feed in enough images of that particular artist, do you think you could get?
Oh, you're talking about training a model. So if you train a model, sure, yeah, you give it whatever data set you want. Usually it's like 50 to 100 images, and that's like the whole point is to train it on images and make more like that style, like a Van Gogh or a comic book or yeah.
Okay. And then I guess I'll give you a prompt. Can we do a space cowboy in a Dune-esque setting? I don't know if the Dune's gonna trip you up.
In a Dune-esque setting. Yeah, okay, that kind of works, I would say. So I guess that's kind of all I had. So thank you.
We have one last request
Oh, yeah.
from the LinkedIn virtual audience. It's for a prompt yet
Yeah.
again. It's from Sungwon Jung. Thank you for your question. The prompt suggestion is a dog, a cat, and a duck are playing rock as a band, are playing in a rock band. A dog, a cat, and a duck are playing in a rock band.
Yeah.
Was the suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say so. Got a bunch of cute animals.
I think that works.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much, Bryan. Let's give Bryan a round of applause. This was awesome. Amazing. Bryan will be here for networking too, so stick around if you have more questions for him. And up next, we have the one and only Ross Patrick. Ross is the founder and creative director of Extra Gold Agency. He's also director and creative lead at the School of Advertising at Academy of Art University. Ross is a really engaging speaker. I'm really excited for this. The title of his talk is AI Brand Creation for Designers. And without further delay, this is Ross.
Hey guys, that was really cool to see that last presentation because I think I might be able to answer some of the questions that you guys have. For the last year, I've been teaching AI for advertising, which is mostly image generation and copy generation for ads. And in fact, we've even been doing print, outdoor, television spots, experiential. And now we're going to be teaching AI for designers. And I've been teaching it to designers outside of the university and having great results with professional designers. It's pretty awesome. So just a little background. I asked ChatGPT, why is Ross Patrick speaking at this event? And Chat said, as a seasoned creative director with extensive experience at Nike, Capitol Records, and Deutsche LA, he offers his unique experience in advertising and design, currently serving as the director and creative lead at the Academy of Art University in San Francisco. Patrick imparts knowledge to future art directors, writers, and designers on AI. I can't read in that voice, sorry. Anyway, it's kind of fun. I just did that. I was waiting to come up here and I asked Chat to just write that for me, and it did it for me like 5 minutes ago. So it's kind of cool. So everything in this deck that I'm going to show you are AI images and designs that I created. They're all in Midjourney. I'm glad I didn't try any Dall-E because, yeah. So really, I think the big question is, what can we do with AI? And you know, a lot of people are skeptical, and I'm just going to show you a ton of stuff that you can do in AI. And we're not going to get too deep into the ethics, but to that earlier question, if you're going to try to steal an artist's look, whether that's a photographer, an illustrator, or famous artist, my advice is don't do it unless you're just playing around. You can do it for fun, especially in Midjourney, but you know, like in any field of art or design, you can mimic, but don't rip somebody off. So without that lawyer talk, I'm going to go into packaging design. This is actually a project I'm working on for some clients in Napa, and they want to do some wine bottle design. So this is a seamless project. I didn't Photoshop these onto the wine bottles. It put it on there. So I start pretty traditional. We're doing typography and classic wine, and I even got it to write vino. Good luck. Try to get Midjourney to write a word for you. I bet you can't, but for some reason it did. Here it wrote vink instead of vino, but I was willing to take that because this is just an experiment right now. I'm really looking at the overall designs of these. So I started out traditional, and by the way, this is like a corkscrew cap. So this is like a $9.95 bottle of wine. But as we know, the #1 creative brief in Napa right now is how do we sell wine to, you know, the younger Gen Z generation? Like, we got to get hip with it because a lot of stuff looks like this, or like, well, not like this. This is me saying, hey, look, we could turn the dial a little bit and have some artsy fun stuff, or we could turn the dial a lot and we could go kind of crazy. These would be bottles that, you know, it'd be hard to throw these ones away because they're pretty cool. And then a little bit more traditional. There's so many and such a diverse audience in the wine drinking world, from the super serious, to maybe a little more abstract, a little more fun, still kind of with some of the responsible stuff that goes on in, you know, hey, we got to talk about our terroir. But then I said, well, screw that. I don't think that the wine drinkers that they're buying a $10 or even a $20 bottle of wine really want to get all into that. We can put that on the back of the label or on the website. Let's do something that's collectible. Let's do something, you know, that's really unique. So I played around with this, and the cool thing is on my prompts, I'm getting this result without having to Photoshop this stuff. So these are all just from prompting. This is actually from putting in the prompt, use a barcode on the label. And I got this really cool looking label. In fact, this might be my favorite label in the whole batch. Some other ones that are just kind of cool for the sake of being cool. And some that are kind of a blend of some of the abstract art with some typography. And I think typography is sort of the big head scratcher. Can you actually do typography and art in the same prompt and get some results? And then I went kind of more deeper to trying to get some type on the label. This one I called Boom. These ones sort of have the, what I was thinking was like maybe even the geological terroir with some like, you know, longitude, latitude, elevation. Some other ones that are really sparse, a little bit more fun, kind of merging some of these. I was going to put this slide at the very end and just call it exit, but I was pretty happy with myself that I got the word exit to get up on the label. When you're doing any prompting in Midjourney, try to see if you can do this one. And then the question comes up, who's going to drink this wine? And so I created this girl, and she's drinking a lot of wine. Oh, sorry. She got like double-fisted. But actually the prompt on this one was I was basically borrowing from a famous artist. I had no problem borrowing because I was going to disclose it. His name's Baz. He did a lot of Pall Mall cigarette ads back in the 50s. And okay, we're going to move into some brand creation. So recently, a friend of mine was asking me to show him some AI, and he has a shoe brand, and I said I could knock off your shoe brand over a cup of coffee in your living room. So I started doing this exploratory, and these are all images that I created to knock off his footwear and apparel brand. And at the time, we were in Bend, Oregon, so I said, okay, it's going to be a Bend, Oregon footwear and like apparel company that does like hiking and mountain climbing, and it's all going to be sustainable and upcycled materials. And I'm going to pick a couple brand colors, primarily orange and black and gray. And then I was going to do all the casting for the photography, create all the products, the backpacks, the shoes, the jackets. So this is a little journey into that. And ChatGPT was our first place that we went to, and it wanted to call it a couple of weird names. So I just called it Up Mountain, and I sort of abbreviated it. And I wanted to just see what we could do. We did some shoes, some boots, some jackets. And I was really trying to think about what would the catalog or the website look like for this brand, and what would the product look like. And I think most people would be kind of stunned that you can get this kind of detail, even if you're not a footwear designer. But what's kind of cool is the logos and the graphics on the product, because that started to intrigue me. And then I was trying to do like a catalog page. I think I just basically lifted off a sort of hybrid of a hiking Air Jordan in this one. And then, you know, just some other hiking boots and various sort of mountain climbing footwear, doing different prompts. And then I wanted to do like, what would the t-shirts look like? And I was thinking about catalog. So if anybody's ever done catalog work, you know, it's not the advertising, it's showing off the product, and in this case, apparel graphics. So on the casting of your people, I didn't want like the typical Midjourney casting. So I worked really hard to get the kind of people that I wanted to be in my catalog. And then I wanted to get the kind of people that I wanted to work in my store. And I wanted to get the uniform that the people wear when they work in the store. So very specific prompting to get these kind of outfits and these kind of people and the mix of people. And I think those are some of the biggest challenges, because Midjourney is very biased as to what it's just going to kick out at the beginning. But you'll notice like the through line through all of this is there are graphics. There's little logos on their aprons. There's orange and blue and gray and black all throughout this. So no matter what, you know, there's branding. I asked it to do some sustainable packaging. I did like tons of these bags, these just a selection of them. But I thought it was kind of cool how it brought in some other colors. It brought in the olive green and this kind of slate blue and this sort of, you know, wine-colored red thing. And I didn't ask it to do that. I had just been going down the rabbit hole, and then it put these logos on the package. And I know this isn't going to be the logo, but I really liked that it was doing that, and I can easily Photoshop in the real logo once we get to that. But this was just really an experiment, me just messing around with this and trying to create a brand from scratch. And some of the weird hallucinations that happen in Midjourney are things like this. This was just me messing around trying to do a catalog page, and I got this freaky page that I can't really explain, but I love it. And one of the things you need to do as a scientist or an explorer or an adventurer into AI is be okay with these weird hallucinations and aberrations that happen. Like, this wasn't what I wanted, but I loved it and I thought it was cool. The copy here is actually written by ChatGPT about this thing. And we ended up going even deeper on some of this stuff. We'll get there in a sec. In the logo exploration, I didn't ask it to put the logo on these photos. I didn't ask it to put the logo on the backpack. But Midjourney, like a lot of AI, has a weird memory, and it remembered to put backpacks and mountains into these things. So when you get there, don't be surprised at what it's going to put it on. In this case, I was thinking about some other merch for the store, water bottles, coffee mugs, and other trinkets that would be sold in the store. And then I specifically wanted to get into the logo itself, and I'd never done logo prompts before. And this weird stuff happened where it was giving me these M's in these circles. And you know what? It's not what I wanted, but man, it was really cool. I loved seeing this. And then I kind of went further down it, and I actually liked how some of these were like a U and an M, sort of up mountain. And I was pretty happy with that. I actually think this would be a cool logo for the brand. It's got sort of the mountain in it. It's got the M. It's got the U. It's got this upward motion. I'm like, yeah, not too bad. Other stuff that we were doing was asking ChatGPT to write the catalog copy. And we were doing the images, but this isn't like Dall-E where you can do the prompt and then get the image. This was me doing some images and then going back and saying, hey, can you describe these products and give them names of Bend, Oregon mountains and streams and hiking trails? And then it even gave me the colors. I didn't tell it to do granite, mountain blue, and burnt sienna. And it wrote all the copy and it did a whole catalog. I wanted to share a couple of prompts. I'm not going to get super deep into it, but this says hiking ad for rugged Oregon outdoor apparel brand, full body, image of an up mountain backpack, meticulously crafted from reclaimed materials, stands proudly against the background of rugged outdoor terrain with trees and mountains, black, orange, and gray, 4K, aspect ratio 1:1, blah, blah, blah. So that's a lot of the stuff you're going to get. One of the things, though, that bugs me is that it really wants to put like LA fashion models in all of your stuff. And, you're going to have to work hard to get around that kind of like bias. This is just a demonstration of the copy that ChatGPT wrote just for the men's and women's hiking boots and shoes. Wrote all the descriptions out, did all the products, all the backpacks, jackets. I could go on and on for that forever. It's insane. Once you kind of have the imagery and then the idea for the copy, how you can play chat and Midjourney together. Jackets, I really didn't know what I was doing with the jackets, but hey. So I wanted there to be an end game for designers in this. And that you could say you're a product designer, or you're a website designer, or you're a logo designer, a packaging designer. So I wanted to do the website. I wanted to do the whole like homepage in one swoop and write all the copy and make it legit. So these are all images and all copy that were done just from that session, basically like a 2-hour session where I sat down and did this. I happened to have a web template from a previous project and I just adapted it for this. ChatGPT wrote this tagline, made from the past, built for the future. I thought that was a pretty cool way to say sustainable and upcycled. We did some products at the top. We did our whole sustainable tomorrow message with a bunch of images. We did our eco-friendly retail locations. We did a whole meet the team thing. We did where does our fabric come from? It comes from ocean plastic. That's how we make all our fabrics. And there's one of our designers there. It wrote all the copy. And then, yeah, onward. Can we do some Facebook and Instagram ads? Sure, we can do that too. You'll see I even dropped in one of the logos on here, one of the images. It wrote all the copy in chat. I wanted to see if we could actually put together a video script. So I asked Chat to do that, and then I pulled a bunch of the images from the catalog imagery, and I thought that was good, but it was kind of like more like a video that would just run in store. What if we could get Matthew McConaughey to star in like a full-on TV spot and take it a step further? Almost got Matthew in here, but we did a full story. I'm not going to read you the entire script, but as you can see, there's this epic adventure. They're going hiking through the mountains of Oregon. They get caught in a storm. Matthew helps lead them out, and they have a glorious party around the campfire at the end. One of the team turns to Matthew and asks, "Are we going up the mountain again tomorrow?" And Matthew says, "All right, all right, all right." So there's just kind of a recap of what the brand was we created. Really didn't have the logo at this point. This was just more like a mood board. I want to do a few other images that I've done for other clients. I had a client that's in the food business ask me if I could do some food for them. I'd never done food. I had no idea how to prompt for that. just playing around trying to get these things to go. And as a designer, you might be asked to do these things because you're doing a catalog or a menu or a website. In this case, they wanted like the farmer from Sonoma to appear in some of the promotions along with some packaging. I love the logo that it put it on, skunk. So maybe skunk is the name of the chicken. They also had pizza. I wanted them to do some images from around the farm, and I prompted Midjourney to get kind of freaky with it. I wanted to do the inside of the restaurant. Somebody had asked about a band earlier with the Dall-E. I asked it to do a band with the chickens from the chicken farm. It did that. It made these crazy chicken people as well. I would say for the most part, I'm not a person that does images in Midjourney that are weird and fantastical like this, but when you get them, it's sort of like a happy accident. Just embrace it and have some fun with it. In this case, we were designing the restaurant for this chicken restaurant. They've got fried chicken sandwiches. They've got all kinds of things. It designed that exterior. We said chicken coop. It did the interior. It actually put like a menu board there down in the bottom left. And then it did this beautiful chicken sandwich. We asked it if it could do a food truck for this same restaurant concept based on the sort of same inputs. And this is what it came up with. We always do about 50 to 100 images for each one of the ones I'm showing you. So this is just a very small slice. Here's some of the packaging for packaging designers. The to-go bag, another one, a little more upscale. What I really like about this is how it put the restaurant in the background. It kind of gives you some context of where you're having this meal. And I love the weird names and weird graphics. I know I'm gonna go develop the identity and Photoshop it on here, but this gives me a really great head start. In the process of doing that trailer, I got the idea that I could do pop-ups for other clients. And one of my clients is in the alternative milk business, and they wanted us to do some pop-ups for sampling of this alternative milk. It's not made with cows, it's made with laboratory, it's made with fermentation, let's put it that way. So what I did was I wanted to do a vending machine for milk and cookies, and I wanted to do it on the street in New York. And this is a couple of images out of thousands of images, but I wanted them to be not just a vending machine sitting on the street. I'm gonna put our brand logo on it, and I'm gonna put our cookies and milk and cookies in the machine, but I need to show this to the client. I want it to be super high tech, and I want there to be engagement. Clients are usually pretty literal. They wanna go, well, are people gonna engage with it? Are they gonna like it? I did put our client's logo and graphics on this version. The client's called Strive. I put milk and cookies. We would have a brand ambassador team handing out coupons so you could just go up and get your milk and cookies. We also did a huge explore of what the cookies might look like. Even though this client's not in the cookie business, we would probably partner with somebody and make some cookies. I did literally hundreds, if not thousands of cookie packs. This is just one of them, but I thought, you know what? It's easy enough to drop our logo, because that's our round logo, into this thing and have our little snacks of milk and cookies for our street team. This is just one of the prompts that I put in for the vending machine. You can see the sort of array of machines: futuristic New York, busy street corner, people walking, people looking at an ultra futuristic white vending machine, tiny milk Tetra packs, and very small boxes of chocolate chip cookies, high-tech Tesla, Jonathan Ive, modern design, bright daylight, 4K. So I did drop in Jonathan Ive's name, if you guys know who he is, Apple. I wasn't getting results, and I needed it to look high-tech. This isn't something that is a ripoff of Jonathan's work. I just needed to get something that was gonna look super futuristic so that when we do hire an industrial designer to do this, we could have a head start. I needed to sell the concept to the client first, and this is the image that the client sees, and then we would Photoshop this up and do it. We got a little bit more time. I'm gonna do a couple of brand mashup things for you. A lot of hobbyist artists in Midjourney have done some mashups. I did one for a client, their Hershey's chocolate, and I said I was gonna do Reese's peanut butter cups, but I was gonna do a mashup with Patagonia hiking gear. So this was some of the early stuff, and it literally thought that we were in the Patagonia mountains with some chocolate bars. And then I wanted to do something more into the apparel world. Let's lean into the Patagonia side of it and do some Reese's Peanut Butter Cup jackets. And I couldn't believe how cool this turned out. I have to say the first like 100 attempts sucked, and then these ones started to come to life. I mean, honestly, the Hershey's client was saying, hey, we need to call Patagonia and do this at an event, maybe a trade show where we're going to make this product. But just down to the details of this stuff. Now, the graphics aren't the Reese's logo, but we got to that later. We did a whole bunch of other things with packaging. And if you're a packaging designer, you might think that you can't do this, but it can be done. We actually did a pop-up because I'm infatuated with pop-ups. When Hershey saw this, they're like, hey, we want to go to the fancy food trade show with this pop-up and have our Reese's trail mix and our Reese's, hiking energy clusters and all this backpacking stuff. And we're just going to wear the gear and have this as our product sampling booth at the trade show. We did some interiors. We did some other trade show booth stuff just for fun. A couple other things. Some other weird stuff that happened. I actually really like this little trailer. I want to do it. This one I actually logoed up with Patagonia and Reese's on it. This one has the Reese's and the Patagonia logo on it as well. Some chocolate bars. This is the one that really got them excited. They were like, we want to do Reese's Trail Mix. So it can't do the Reese's logo, but it got pretty close at just putting that word in there, and we could easily Photoshop Reese's in there. But what really impressed me was the illustration style and the vibe of this and the product brand colors. It got the orange, the yellow, kind of threw in that purple brown. We did a ton of these things, and honestly, I took kind of a big gamble to show this to the client because they were just asking me to train them on Firefly and Midjourney and ChatGPT, not on doing their packaging, but I didn't want to show up empty-handed, so I did this. And honestly, it was kind of just a fun moment for them to see not only the graphic design, but like look at the pouch and the details on the pouch. I mean, I had 30 designers for Hershey on the call, and they were freaking out at the pouch. But then the higher ups were like, hey, we actually want to take this to product development and marketing and see if they would be interested in doing this. So this is the prompt: Reese's Peanut Butter Trail Mix pouches, packaging design, neon colors, mountains, chocolate, Patagonia camping gear inspired chocolate bars, orange and brown branding, hybrid 4K, AR32. I think that prompt actually blew them away as well, because they were like, how did you come up with Reese's Peanut Butter Trail Mix? And I just said, well, I needed to show up with something, and that was the thing. So I think the thing here, really, just to kind of sum up, is that if you're a graphic designer, a packaging designer, a product designer, there's a lot of things you can do with Midjourney. We know that Dall-E is coming on strong. Turns out, actually, I had to switch gears after I showed this to Hershey's. They were not allowed to use Midjourney. They're only allowed to use Firefly. So I did a whole ton of stuff in Firefly, which I'm not showing tonight, but that's where the world is going. Adobe is building Hershey's, a private Firefly network with all of their brand, their entire brand library built into it, so they can play in a firewall protected environment and do things like this with their graphics. So that's all going to happen for not just for Hershey's, but think about every big brand is going to be able to do that. Just for giggles, I did some other things for Hershey's. I did Gucci, I did Chanel, Louis Vuitton. Kind of fun to try and get the letters on the chocolate bar. I did Levi's, a denim chocolate bar. Why not? Interestingly enough, Hershey said this looked like some of their original packaging from the 1800s. And what was really impressive for them was the stamps and the graphics that actually went on the chocolate bar itself. So kind of cool. Look at the illustration that's on here. I mean, if you're a professional graphic designer, I challenge you to go recreate this in Adobe Illustrator and build this file out from scratch. It would be difficult. It could be done, obviously. You'd need some illustration and some good fonts, some retro fonts, and you could do it. But this is insane as a sketch.
Ross, we got about 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm
Right.
just gonna probably wrap it up here. I'll just blast through these last ones just so you can see some more Gucci chocolate bars. So yeah, the question at the beginning was, what can we make with AI? And my answer is anything and everything. And yeah, that's it. If you guys want to ask some questions, I got about 5 minutes.
Let's start Q&A. Any questions for Ross from the audience? Perfect.
Just a quick question. What tool are you using to make the slides? Because they look super cool.
Keynote. During the pandemic, I was forced to become really good at Keynote, and I was trying to make it mimic ChatGPT. And some of my I teach ChatGPT, and some of them I have it mimic the chat so it looks like we're live in chat. The problem is, as you see with a live demo, it's too time consuming for me to do Midjourney. Just the clock is spinning. So a lot of this is just showing you the pick of the litter, the best stuff. And a lot of today was just to really address you guys as designers.
I would love to hear, you said that some of the different prompts you have to do hundreds of times. How often do you change the prompt versus just trying on with the same prompt over and over again?
That is an awesome question. So the real trick is you develop your prompt, and a lot of my first early experiments was just changing one word. So let's say I'm trying to do, I'll just say a person, and I say, a 27-year-old guy with blonde hair, Italian, blue eyes, whatever. I'll just change it to German or French or Canadian or Australian or African American, and just change that one prompt word to see what I get. And that taught me that I could do that with other prompts, just changing one word. Then the other thing I do is I'll just hit the very strong button 100 times. And I'll just and sometimes like on the 99th time, the best stuff happens. And you'll look at the prompt and it's saying blonde-haired German guy with blue eyes, and I've got like some girl with like flowing black hair, and you go, what the hell happened? So you have to be willing to put the time in, and you have to be willing to be a mad scientist if you're gonna get results. So a lot of times I just have my window open over here while I'm doing other projects, and I'm just going back and letting it go, or changing that one word, or taking the front end of the prompt and the back end of the prompt and swapping them. Because when you lean on, the German guy with the blue eyes, but you want him standing on the top of a mountain and it won't do it, then I switch it. Standing on the top of the mountain, blah, blah, blah. Flip those prompts. And there are other tricks called seeding and other reference things that you can do in Midjourney. So a lot of stuff, I'm pulling a seed. A lot of things, I'm using a prompt word from the outside world to get a different result, like using Wes Anderson to get the weird Patagonia Reese's stuff, because it wouldn't get weird for me, so I threw his name in there.
Hey there. I have a question. You touched on it a couple of times, like the difficulty of getting the text and the image, and I've tried that too, and it is really difficult. So, what's the secret?
The secret is being creative with your prompts. I would say for anybody learning, go into Midjourney and be a prompt thief, and look at some cool image that you like the style, steal that prompt, and then change it with your assignment. So, if you're doing a cheeseburger in paradise and you want it to be a watercolor painting, go find a watercolor on the Midjourney Explore page, steal that back end of the prompt, and then put cheeseburger in paradise at the front, and you'll get a cheeseburger in some magical world as a watercolor, because that's what you're taking the back end from. It's the best, fastest way to learn, and you're gonna fail less doing that, and then you're also gonna be empowered and more confident to go make up your own prompts without having to go dig around and be a thief. But I mean, you're just experimenting right now, so I think you're fine by doing that method.
I'm sure we have more questions for Ross, but he'll be here for networking, so let's hit him up then. I just have one comment from Dhruv Patel on LinkedIn, and he says, this is some of the best quality content I've seen generated from Midjourney. Great job, Ross. That's from
Thank you.
Drub. Thanks, Drub. Thanks a lot, Ross.
You want to click it?
Okay, that was great. And finally, we have KD Deshpende. KD is the founder and CEO at Simplified. The title of his talk is Integrate an AI-powered Copilot into your design process. So without further delay, here is KD.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm here. I'm KD, founder and CEO of Simplified. So let me quickly go over. So we are going to cover some interesting stuff today. We are also going to unveil some new models, which we have integrated in our application towards the end of the product, this demo. So who I am? I'm builder. I'm AI hacker. In past life, I worked at Uber, Facebook, and before starting Simplified, dog lover and father of two. And what is Simplified? Simplified is a one app to create, collaborate, and scale your content creation. We are building this AI-powered application for past 2 years. It allows you to take all your workflow and bring all the power of AI so that way you can do more with less. That's exactly our vision is. We are not building just a product, we are building a space so that way you can come together, you can do more with less. And when we say more with less, it is it goes without saying, like, we are leveraging a lot of AI into our product. So rather than just telling, let's jump into the show part. So when you log in, you can go to simplified.com. Once you log in, you will see a couple of different things happening here. We have AI-powered design editor, video, and social media. So you can do all things from start to end on Simplified. So before I jump into the design part, there are a lot of AI models out there, and each one of you are trying and finding a lot of different models, looking for tools to elevate your design. At Simplified, we are constantly look out for new models and then integrating into our product so that way we can bring them to our our community, our customers. So you will find anything from like AI image generator to like AI images, even as simple as like background removers. So our AI image generator already integrates with Dall-E as well as Stable Diffusion, as my previous presenters were discussing. And what we have done, we are constantly look out for how can we simplify prompt writing. And you can try this product once you log in. There are free credits loaded when you sign up. And there are a bunch of other models. So for example, one exciting model which I'm really excited to show you today, and a couple of others, image to video. So as I said, I like dogs. And one of the interesting model I have seen is like you can give any image to this model. So I was just looking for, searched this image, on Google, golden retriever, and I have uploaded it on Simplified image to video model, and it AI generated quick video. This is the start where we are heading, and there are a lot of these AI models for you to go and play so that way you can get familiar with the platform. And what we did into our design platform, so when we say we are building this new age AI-powered platform, so for example, right now, most of the time when we are designing, you need someone, we often run into this creative block. You want some help to get started. You need someone who can collaborate with you, who can come up with like some new ideas. So with integration of existing new technologies as well as on existing platform, now with AI, you will be able to get started with anything. You can generate text to images. You can generate AI carousels, memes, presentations, or thumbnail makers for your next YouTube videos, or even social media quotes as well. And you don't need to be like prompt writer. All you need to do is, for example, I can go and say, let's say AI for designers. Let's say I want to talk about this topic today, and I can choose the creativity level. I can choose my own language and click next, and pick any template you want, like whichever. Like let's say, for example, I can choose any template and then hit generate. And once you hit generate, it takes like a couple of seconds, and it generates a full presentation for you. So that way, that is something which you can use that as like the starting point, and it covers, it helps you get started really fast. So for example, it already generated a presentation for me on introduction to the artificial. It also picked the images, and you can go through the presentation, you can customize it. So this is not to, this is just helping me to overcome my creative blocks. And similarly, not only presentations, you can generate YouTube thumbnails, you can generate like carousels, Facebook ads, all those things. So something which already been available on the platform. Another thing is like, as we are building this AI capabilities, the whole idea of having AI tools at our disposal was how can it save me time? So what we did was like, let's take any image, and so first of all, you can go and generate images with existing models. For example, I can write, so our friend just showed us like how prompt engineering is. It's a hit and miss, it's a trial. So what we did is, you can just go and write a simple prompt, like again, golden retriever puppies, and we have given you some presets like filters, where you can choose a filter, cartoon or like carbon style or black and white style, and then choose number of generation. If you are slightly more advanced, you can also give negative prompts, and it will like generate a bunch of different images based on like your style, your like how you want to do that. So for example, I really like this image. And then you can do all sort of like operations on these images by just clicking on like edit photo. You can remove the background in one click. You can like erase any part. You can even do generative fill. You can do autofocus. So for example, I can just click and say remove background, which many of you already probably seen in some or other form, but it allows you to just like remove those edges. You can again use, you can do a magic crop. You can remove these image like things immediately. Similarly, you can like replace backgrounds with like colors, gradients. So it's like really fast way to achieve that really quickly. So these capabilities are, these allows you to do a lot more with existing, in your day-to-day workflow. And this is fully collaborative platform which allows you to design anything you want, from like simple designs to your marketing brand kits, with the whole brand kit integrated into the product. But I'm more psyched and really excited to show you something new, something which is still in experiment phase. So I'm praying to demo gods that it works. So oftentimes, design is a creative process. Design is, it's not like AI is here to just replace you. AI is here to make us smarter, make us like, it's almost like our best friend who can guide you. Imagine like if you have a really amazing coach, amazing friend, or like the best manager who is sitting or guiding you through the process. How will you, as a designer or as a creative person, you will probably excel, you will create the best quality outputs, or you will put more throughput, so that way there is this real-time feedback is happening. And most of the AI models right now, you give some prompt and it takes some time, like it takes 30 seconds, it comes back, then maybe like fingers are broken or like something off in those images. What if you have someone who can collab with you, someone almost like a Copilot? And then most of the design process is very collaborative. It goes like iterations back and forth. Let me, and we are going to do this together. So I'm going to design, like, let's probably design, since Christmas is coming, let's do jamming on Christmas card or like an Instagram post, something like that. So what I'm going to do is like create a new blank project, and I'll say Instagram, and select this model. So it creates the blank slate. There is nothing on the screen. And what I'm going to do is summons our Copilot. And this is something you can say design with AI. And it opens up almost like your Copilot in this whole process. Now, my job, or what we need to do here, is just speak your mind. So for example, I'm going to type here, or if someone has any idea what should we design, just raise their hand and let me know. I'll just type it. Let's see what AI produces, and we'll iterate through the process. Any volunteers?
You like dogs, right?
Yeah.
So how about a dog holiday card carousel?
Okay, let's do. So dog holiday card carousel, right? Yeah. Okay, all right. So let's do dog. I'm just going to start with a dog, and I'm going to say like probably like run. So let's see. Let me refresh it one more time. So what we'll do, this is a new model called as a low latency stable diffusion. And the way it works is basically, I'm just designing something here, and hopefully it will, let me see. Okay, let me try it one more time. So probably, as I said, this is like really experimental thing which we are doing. So the way it works is you have to just type, let's see. Okay, probably demo god are not very happy with we showcasing this, but I'll show you a demo of this. So the way it works is in real time, AI starts designing with you. And the way it designs, it not just like probably designing, it's iterating with your design. Like for example, as soon as I have done like few designs like earlier. So for example, when I'm designing, you can see it creates a lot of these photos as well as images. So I just gave like things like, I said starry night and something like Golden Gate or like a busy city, and then created my sketch like this, and then AI generated something really powerful for me. And all I have to do is draw things on my canvas, and it simultaneously AI just generate things for me. So I can keep and iterate it more and clean it more and more. So that way, let me see if I have a video which will play. But this is going to change the way we design today. This will bring the next level of capabilities. All you have to do is like imagine. And I think Ross' slide was spot on, where it was saying with AI, you can imagine anything and everything. And that's exactly what's happening with this new type of models called as a low latency stable diffusion. And the way you will do it, you will have to just summons the AI, and AI just does this working for you. So let me just quickly give it a try if it works. Otherwise, we'll continue with our presentation. Okay, something is probably, okay, all right, there we go. we are back in the game. So you can see there is a Santa just generated, and then probably I can just change the Santa here. I can say here Santa in Pixar style. And as I am typing, it is basically generating the whole thing. And now somebody said maybe like my friend said like, hey, let's add some dog. Maybe so there is a all library available for you here, which is like the photos from Unsplash, Pixabay, Pixel, or we have illustrations. So I'll just probably add here dog. And as I'm adding these things, we need to tell like what exactly we are adding. So what I'm going to say here is a dog and probably Santa with probably a puppy. I mean, it is not a puppy, but I'm just giving it puppy. And then if you see here, AI is generating the same thing with me. And now you can go and enhance these. I can change the position of this, and it automatically does this for me. So for example, I can go and change it to probably in animations, in animated style. So it goes and changes these things on the fly. Probably let's try something. I'm going to add maybe like some probably maybe let's try adding golden gate in the back. So you can go and say probably send it to back. This doesn't come out. If you like it, you can keep it. You can just probably say enhance it. It will just go and enhance that as well. Or if you don't like it, you can always remove it. Or I'll probably add a few more things like, let's say, sky.
Can you explain what's happening on the left and the right?
Yes. Okay, sure. I think, so question is, what exactly happening?
On the right looks awesome.
Yes, so let me explain what's happening here. So what's happening here is, I'm a creator, and I want to, as we said, we want to design, let's say, Santa greeting card for Christmas. So what I did here is, first I have started my Copilot, because I have this idea. I haven't settled my thoughts on what that, I have a creative block and I'm trying to think like what will be that output will look like. But I know like I want one Santa, I want probably a dog in that, maybe I want some night shade, something like a creative direction. And I actually wrote that, whatever the thoughts in my mind, I just wrote it like in plain English, like Santa with a puppy, and I'm saying in animated style. Now when I gave it to that, I'm also telling AI, refer this image, like refer my design, and here are the objects where I want one Santa. That should be approximately around like probably this size, or probably I need a dog that looks like a puppy. So what AI is doing, it is maintaining the structure which I am giving it here, and in real time, it is generating some reference images. So you can keep iterating more and more. This model is new, so it will get as it, and it is open source. So you, as people will, it is probably as will train more and more, this model will get to move pretty much like photorealism. So this will help people to get started quickly, even like to come up with like experiment with a lot of new ideas and overcome their creative block. And the next thing which this allows you to do is you can enhance your block. Let's say if you don't like certain image, so you can probably you can just keep refreshing and keep trying that the whole concept again and again. So for example, I don't like probably moon is coming on this side. Maybe I should put it like moon is like way too much here. So I'm moving the moon and it moves the moon on the other side. Or probably maybe instead of dogs, let's add some like kids. So what I'm doing here is like I'm just searching for like kid, and let's say for example, and the way it is doing is like it is reference. So it doesn't know that I have added kid in my picture. So what I'm going to do is like maybe let's put it next to the dog, and here I'm going to say Santa with a puppy and a kid in animated style. And as soon as we do it, I'm just telling in English, and it is generating that image with the reference. So for example, maybe this puppy is a little big, so I'll just go and make it a little smaller, make it big, and we can give all sort of like different instructions, like maybe make a dog fetching a ball. So you don't need to give like a full-blown prompt. What AI is doing is based on what I have given or what I'm like basic sketching, it is generating the full-blown image. And then if, let's assume that I like certain image, this looks good like as a base for me to go and iterate, I can click on it and it adds, and if you see here, it adds to my artboard, and I like this image, I can just go and start working and iterating more. So this is the new, as I said, this is like a new model that is right now, it is called as a low latency stable diffusion, which allows us to take any real images and generate images like as if you're like scribbling. I'm just scribbling and then AI is helping me perfect these things.
KD, would you like to start? Is now a good time for Q&A? Or
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. Any questions for KD on this tool? So KD, in general, the workflow is on the left side, you're positioning references. On the right, you put a prompt that might indicate style, and your output is also on the right.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And you can keep iterating on it, basically. It happens in real time.
Hi, how's it going? Can you demo the animate feature from
Sure.
this?
So, all right. So we have full-blown another AI-powered video editor. So let's say, for example, I have these elements on my screen. I can click on animate, and then probably it creates a copy of your project and turns into a video. So for example, I can just turn anything into a video. Like you can add all these effects, you can add music. So easily you can turn anything into a video. And even if you, let's say for example, this is like our typical timeline editor where you can control, enter, exit, all these efforts. And then there is another AI-powered model which basically takes the image and turns that into a video, adds motion in it. So if you want to take a look at video, there are, just to give you, there are a bunch of things happening here in video as well. You can add like automatic clips, you can add automatic subtitles to your TikToks and other stuff. So there is a lot more under the hood, but since we wanted to showcase this low latency model, we focused that much on in this session.
Any other questions from the audience for KD on Simplified or the workflow? KD, can you take us back into, actually, wait, yeah, really? Go for it, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, is there like a batch process function also for this?
Yes. So there is a batch process because I know many of us do like business cards and a lot of different designs, and you want to scale the design. So what you can do is like design your base design, and then you can like generate a batch artboard creation. You can download a CSV, fill all the layers, and just drag and drop here, and it will create like 30 to 100 designs in one go. So there is like a bunch of AI tools as well as like the full-blown AI design editor in place. Yes, sir.
Also, too, I don't know if you have this.
Hold on, let's get you the mic so the virtual audience can hear too, and actually
Great.
everyone.
I was here maybe not the second to last one before, but is it possible to export either a still image or a video? I think the functionality would be if you could export that to like a Photoshop thing with layers, and then if it's video with different layers, maybe be able to export it back to Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, that kind of thing. Just
Right now, no. Yeah, but you can have access to full layers, layerings, and other stuff in platform. But in future, you may be able to export into these other formats as well.
And what would be the export process for like Instagram? So you had that square tile with the Santa scene.
Yes. So as I said, Simplified allows you to creation to distribution in one platform. So all you to do is like once your designs or your videos are ready, all you need to just connect your social media and say like publish it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere. So you don't need to leave the tabs or like switch the apps. You can simply do creation to distribution all in one platform.
Any other questions for KD? KD, could you show us the Santa scene again, or did we save that
Sure.
project?
All right. So let's try. If we want to try, I'll see. This is because this is very experimental. So let's try one more time. So I'm going to start a new board and then click design with AI. And I'm asking AI like what I want to design, let's say dog running or dog chasing a ball. Let's start with a dog. All right, so I said just the dog, and I will again go to my, like some reference. So that way AI understands that this, what I'm referencing. So for example, I'm adding like a box, or let's say, or I can just go search for a dog illustration, any icon. You can even change colors. Now I just said like dog, but we can even do golden retriever. So you can keep like trying different things, and AI generate these things on the fly. If you want to refresh this again, you can again try like new variations. So what AI is doing, all the models up till now, Dall-E, like Stable Diffusion XL or Midjourney, you submit the prompt and you wait for almost like 30 seconds. In this new model, it just like generate things on the fly immediately in real time. It's a new version of Stable Diffusion. It's still in a infancy stage. We'll see a lot more better results in like probably months to come. And then I can just, once it is like generated, I can add to my artboard and just keep working on it. So if you see now, this is using it as like a reference image. And then I can like change the size. So I can control the heuristics and of these images on the fly.
And then can you alter the style?
Yeah.
With the prompt?
Yes, you can choose the style. Let's say cinematic. Cinematic is not working well, but Pixar style is working really well. So for example, I can say it is in Pixar style. Even if I add some image in the back, what we have noticed is if the images are like some sceneries, it works really well. So for example, I'm just going to, now AI doesn't understand, because what we told AI is like golden retriever dog chasing a ball in a Pixar style. So I'll just bring this to the front. So it will do the mashup of these two images, and then we'll try to create something like together. So this is like a preview of where we are heading. So all your designs will become, and this model is not really best for like text yet, because we also tried text from our labs, where you can just go and add any text. It doesn't understand like what exactly text I'm adding. It generates like, it hallucinates. But for general illustrations, it's really cool.
KD, last question. What else have you been excited about in the last few weeks related to AI, related to generative AI, outside of just in general?
I think in general, that's a great question. I think years of progress is happening in months, and months of progress is happening in minutes. It's crazy the way things are moving. Even the company in the space in generative AI, sometimes it's overwhelming just to catch up. We are excited with the way video is evolving because AI is able to do like magic cuts, find the filler words. I think all the video editing, heavy lifting, which people used to do, it's slowly fading away. And it's almost AI is becoming integral part of your design and creation process. And that will give us time. I think in general, AI will make us better, but I think we have to go back and probably start nourishing our creativity again, because we are so reliant on tools right now. Probably the day will come where we have to just go and focus more on our creativity and hone those skills and go back to the basics again, like start thinking like child, the way we used to be when we were growing up.
Thanks very much, KD. Let's give KD a round of applause.
Thank you.
Okay, if you had a good time tonight, you want to show support, visit our Twitter and LinkedIn pages. We have content such as replays and edited videos posted here as well, so check it out. And look at meetup.com for future meetups and what's ahead. Next events, tomorrow night. We usually do this on Wednesday night, but because of the holidays, we're having AI for developers tomorrow night. So it's the last one of the year. There'll be pizza. There'll also be cakes. So it's going to be a lot, guys. So be here. Last one of the year. Okay, and then in January we'll get going again. AI for marketers is on January 9th, and January 10th we have AI for designers. So that's what's happening, and we're going to start open mic. This is an opportunity for you to come up here to kick off networking. It's optional. This is by request. If you want to introduce yourself, and it's a good way to introduce yourself and start networking. Arjun, this is a good example right here of a announcement. And LinkedIn will see you too.
This is more of an example of a comedian. Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Arjun, like Argentina without the Tina. My quick 60-second ask is we're launching a campaign very soon. I can't really talk about it too much, but it entails a landing page. So we're looking for a great copywriter. We're looking for a great storyteller to help us craft the message itself. The message is already there, but it just needs to be redone, essentially. So we're hiring for that position very, very quickly. And so if you know any great storytellers, copywriters in the city, especially, or in New York, let me know. The company that we're building, or the app that we're building, is Self-Tac, Selfies for Smart Networking. And the idea is you take a selfie, it automatically recognizes you, automatically reaches out to the person in text and email format with a selfie. And so we're building a social network around that. So I'd love to talk to anyone who can storytell. Thanks.
Thank you, Arjun. Arjun's always got swag. And if you want to make an announcement in the LinkedIn comments, that's another way to do this as well. I'm just going to leave our conference slide up here during open mic in case anyone hasn't signed up. Today's the day. Come on up.
Hey folks, my name is Joselito Sering. I am a local independent filmmaker here in the South of Market area. I'm currently working on an AI generative film where all of the images, the animation, the music, the story, it's all generated by AI. I'm looking for collaborators if you guys are into just doing AI research and practicing or learning about workflows. That's something that I'm working on right now. So if you guys are interested in meeting up, make sure we talk during pizza. And yay, that was great, by the way, all that. Joselito Sering. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Perfect announcement. Great example of how it's done. And who else? Anyone else? We have time for like one more announcement. Arjun's back? Really? Come on. Well, you got to be on the mic. You either announce or you don't, so come on up.
Hey guys, you probably know a guy named Jackson. He's hosting a conference next month called the Developer Conference, right? AI User Conference. So definitely hit him up and join the conference, and I'll be there too.
Look at that. Look at that great announcement. Yeah, that's also a very nice announcement. What time is it? It's 8:05. What do you say we, any last announcements? Look at this, one last one. This is Lee.
Hey, my name is Lee, and I used to work at Yelp, and I think about Yelp restaurant search entirely too much. I think there are a lot of applications of LLMs to search and changing the user experience there, which frankly I think has underserved us for many decades now. So if you're interested in that, come talk to me.
Thank you, Lee. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Let's do some networking, have some pizza, and thank you very much for attending. Thank you.